Good morning, cool cats and kittens. Hold on. Oh, there's our. Hold on. Let's get rid of the loop. And let's drop this down. And the camera is not going to work for a little bit until I figure out what's going on with this computer. Somehow I've got too much on here and it keeps slowing. The camera keeps slowing down. So no bonding today. Let's get to it. And we'll start here. I don't know. I thought this was good data. Apparently I'm the only one that thinks that. Let's get to what's going on out there because there's a bunch of stuff out there. I would expect a super light volume day, but at the same time, I think there's some really interesting developments out there. So it's real clear that he's going after Apple. And I'm not sure why he's making them the poster child, but he really is. You know, the one thing I think super important, we'll go over this in Saturday's video. If we take a look here, these are the 5 days moving averages on the 200, and super important here. See this? Okay, you're at a 3. You were at a 3 yesterday. It's very rare to stay at a 3 and not see some kind of bounce, any kind of bounce. It doesn't even have to be a big bounce, but it's really rare to have no bounce whatsoever. So please remember that. And we'll go from there. So just consider that. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's definitely very important. I can't think of a time that if you overlaid this, like here, I'll show you what I mean. Like if you went to here and you split screen this, right? We'll just do it here on the bottom. And we just go to where you're at, which is a 3, which is right here. And if we drop a line so we can see them from there, and you just look at those events, you're going to note that those events, you can just watch the little line down here. I'll squeeze this down so we can get rid of maybe I can get rid of that for a sec. And then you can't see that one. Yep, perfect. So below is the S&P. And just watch what happens when I go to like where a 3 is. It's really hard to not say, all right, okay. Oh, for God's sake, that you don't have some semblance of a bounce in these areas. And it's not all the time. And it's not right away. I don't know why they can't align this thing perfectly. It's kind of annoying. I mean, like, why would you set up 2 graphs that aren't aligned? You see where I'm going with this? So really important. So I do think that, and I do think that there's some kind of bounce out there. What's happening is I personally think he's doing a money grab and he needs money. And he's trying to figure out where the money's going to come from. So he's looking at Apple and going, well, you're not going to get away from this with going into, India, that's a favored nation partner, and get around everything. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I do think there's something to that. And I do think that you need to be aware of that. I do. So we'll see how this plays and we'll go from there. What else? You're not really there yet. You did break this one, but you're not really there yet. I'll tell you what I think a lot of. I keep trying to equate to what is he doing and why is he doing it. I really think he needs money. I think that's why he keeps talking about these going public. I think he's going to bring Fannie and Freddie Mae back. I really do. They used to trade. I know people don't even know this. Like these things used to trade at levels that were like way up here. And then they just went and government took them over. And since then, it's been like 20 years of this. And it happened during, obviously, the great financial crisis. But what's so fascinating about it is he wants to take them public. And I think they should be pseudo public entities. I do think that. And it's a great way for them to make a lot of money, for the government to make a lot of money. A lot, because they were borrowed. They could borrow money. And the way that they borrow money, they actually need the government. So the government actually gets a percentage. Like they were pseudo government agencies is the way that it was mapped out. And really important to get and think about it. So give me 1 second here. So if you watch this and you see how we lift, I'm very interested in this. It's pink sheets. I don't like this kind of stuff. I actually feel, I'll tell you this, when I saw this lift out of this, I actually felt dumb when I thought about it later. I was too busy making money off of like Tesla and everything else, but this fits perfectly into like Munchin's wheelhouse, Besant's wheelhouse. Like this is their thing. So I don't think these are done, and I would expect them to be active today. But to me, I really can't stress it enough, and I really think it's worth paying attention to. I do. So don't sleep on these two today. You're probably going to want to watch. You're probably really going to want to watch these, and these may become things that go pretty wild. It's just maddening to me that I didn't connect it back here. I was so busy going like, yay, Elon. And quite frankly, you want to see something absolutely crazy, like crazy. And you're going to say, yes, you do. Take Fannie Mae and divide the relative performance of Fannie Mae by Tesla. And realize from November on, find it where we are. From November on to here, watch this. But wait, there's more. If you bought Fannie Mae and you shorted Tesla, you're up 389%. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And I don't think that I don't think they're going to stop. Because if you think about everything, like if you really take a step back and go, what is he doing with tariffs today? Well, the budget thing didn't go well. Moody's was the downgrade a week ago. Why is he doing what he's doing? Like, what is the purpose of him doing what he's doing? And I would watch this. I would watch this. I think it's super important to watch this. There's these trades that you get, right? There's these trades that you get like once in a while, or like, and I'll go through it this weekend. And I think I'm going to go through it this weekend. Freddie Mac, same thing. And you get them like once in a decade. Like they're literally once in a decade trades. Like NVIDIA, I think you're looking at something like that. So I got to look at this and try to figure out what the catalysts are going to be. But if you go through what he said about like Apple today, like this is where I'm going with it. I think this is the way you need to view today, not just going forward. But if you look at what he said about Apple today, like think about it. How fast are you going to be able to get up here? Look at how it's holding our level too. How fast are you going to be able to get up here and get up to speed where Americans are putting in your screws? Like you're just not going to be able, like how fast is that going to happen? Like how many people are like in the Midwest going, boy, ma, I really, is that how they talk in the Midwest? They say ma a lot. Like, is that elitist for me to say it that way? But you know, go with it. Like, how many people are out there going, boy, I really hope Apple brings them jobs back so I can put screws in iPhones. Like, I don't really think a lot of people are thinking about it that way, you know? So I don't know. I think he's got other ulterior motives here, and we'll see what they are. But that's really, that's where my head is with this. These are key levels that you might want to mark off. I do think European Union, because you all saw the European Union comments, I'm sure, where, you know, European Union's like, well, either here or I think the tariff level is going to be 50%. So, okay, so we're going to take our allies from World War II and we're going to say that, if you could see the facial expressions, this is when I should have the cam on. But like, I got to figure it out, you know, those internets. But like, oh yeah, or allies from World War II. Yeah, you're going to pay more in tariffs coming into our country. Thank you for that. Thank you for everything. But you're going to pay more in tariffs than China. Like, it's mind-boggling, but yet here we are. So I look at it and I would watch this, but I really think 332 is like, you need to hold 332. You break 332, man, you're going to a handle. You're going to a two handle, and it's not going to be pretty. Think of the opposite of pretty, right? I would watch this. I'd watch this. I think you can do very well trading this today. Some of these, well, I'm not going to get into those. I do want to get into this QBTS because I think this is important. So when I see this, I'm short this, and I'm short it like on steroids. I'll show you how I did it in a moment. But when I see this, and then I'll take questions. You see how you have a bar here, and that's your open. See how you went over this bar and then slammed into it and got completely matumboed? And see how you opened right here? These are all within 4 cents of one another. And then you lifted, and you're going to form bullish engulfing at the top of a channel, I'm short this. And I'm short enough that I can trade around it. But I'm short it through this. Like I shorted QBTX. And they found me more stock today. And I'm down in the short, just to be candid. But it's all about position size. I was up in it when it was here. I was up like 20 points. My cost is like 105, I think, at this point. And I'm down in it today. I don't really care because it can't sustain this. It's just not sustainable. Eventually, it'll come back down to 50, 60, no matter where QBTX goes. It's just a matter of time because they have to do these through calls. They're not doing it through stock. I'm not going to get into it all now. The same thing with MSTX. Like if you ever want to short MSTR, don't short MSTX. It's way, way easier and it's way more lucrative. So, because they can't do it. If you're in the community, you know this. We went through that whole paper that hedge fund did on it, on how they're doing these 2Xs through call options, not through stock. So not only are they losing when the stock drops, but they're losing on the spread of the call option. It's kind of nuanced, but it's there. Super important concept. And it's not just MSTX. If it's got X in front of it, it's going to bleed out. X going to give it to you. So keep that in mind. It's the X ones that make the most sense. And I'm trying to think what else we should really go over besides, they want us to put screws in Apple phones. Econ data. I think we're okay today. I do. I think we're okay today. I actually think Trump wants to create panic before Friday. Oh, I know one more name I want to go over. Let me just see something here. No, I don't care about that. No, I think it's important. So I just want to go through this. I personally think NVIDIA is going to do very well into earnings. I don't have a clue. So as always, everything I say is information and education. I don't have a freaking clue. I don't see how coming out and adding Saudi Arabia and parts of the UAE, which are not finalized, but as Saudi Arabia is finalized, and getting more access to China, I don't see how you don't raise guidance being NVIDIA. Now, if you lower guidance, I'm looking at an 8 handle. This thing will get smoked, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. And so I'm looking at this and going, this might be your last, chance. Because then you go Tuesday, you have the weekend, then you go Tuesday, then you go Wednesday into this. So I think that this is your shot, really, into earnings. But we'll see. I mean, last time, here's earnings. And I thought it was going to be great. And yeah, we're bidding up. Here we go. People are finally getting it. And then, bam. They got it all right. I sure got it. So, we'll see what happens. You're trying to get through the top of that bar. We'll see. But this is your really next big one. And then the one that's going to come after that is AVGL. And just to be clear, that's June 2nd. And that usually marks the top of tech if you go back and look at it. But I'll take questions for a little bit. Okay. And then we'll go from there. I am going to have to start wrapping these up at 9 o'clock. I don't have that kind of time. Well, a couple things. It's really clear to me that this is going higher, not lower. Now, whether you can stomach 20-point moves, and what I tell everybody with these kinds of things, it's very clear that their short position or short thesis on Carvana was wrong. It's very, very clear. I put the short on. I did it through puts. It made a lot of sense to me until car values started going higher, and then it made no sense whatsoever. So, yeah, there's some really weird stuff that this company does. And I understand why they have their thesis on it. Like, they'll take their cars to inventory, where it's what these guys do. And according to, I think it was Hindenburg that did the report, they'll have their other company bid along with the other company to drive the price up on the inventory. It's not illegal but it's like super immoral, in my opinion, because like that's not the true value of the company. So you have two independent companies bidding on the value of it. And then what they'll do is then if it doesn't go, then they bring it back to market. And then the other people will look at the value of that and then dump it. So I do think it's an issue. It seems unethical. It's not illegal for the people to do that. So, used cars, man, it's a racket. But anyway, if you take a look at these levels, what do? I don't think there is much to do with it. I think it's going a lot higher, if you want my opinion. So I do. I think it's going a lot higher. AAP, there's a couple here. First off, Urban makes a lot of sense. But what you really need from Urban is this. So you need Urban to retest that low. And then watch after that retest, can it get back over that high? That's your whole world. This in between, like, no. What we need here is to go here and see if we can undercut that and then go. This was a blowout. I actually read this one last night. This was a blowout. And you're at all-time highs, period. So I've got blue skies, man. I've got blue skies after a multiple year basing. And they're from Philly. But you like up, down, retest it, and then goes. Nah, man, you got a lot there. And if you looked at that base and you just did something as simplistic as like that, you're easily looking at an 8 handle on it. And so easy. I like this like a lot. I don't know why you're in green. You should be in red. The AAP has been like the really, I don't know, like, you have like that one friend you're always rooting for, but he can't get his life together. That's kind of like Advanced Auto Parts because, like O'Reilly's like kicking butt in life and, like AutoZone's kicking butt in life. So you see that? I think there's something here. And everyone and their sister shorts this one and goes long the other one as a pair trade, right? Because it never works. Like they never get like, John, bro, they never get it together. like they never get it together. So just understand that. Agreed. I can smell their fear and panic. It sickens me, but I'll profit off it. So I think there's two things to look at here. I think if you go back to my premise that the government needs money and how are you going to get that money? And you go and say, well, electricity is expensive, man, right? Nuclear power is cheap. So why don't they just did it. I was just reading an article on it last night. I shared in the room where they had a Saturday's video is packed, by the way. You're going to want to watch Saturday's public video where they have a process. It takes years for them to pass a nuclear bill. This one took 2 weeks for them to pass instead of years. LEU is the one with the contracts. And, guys have been telling me in the room to buy it since here on the break. So I got guys, there's guys in the room. You'll see, he'll come in here every once in a while, Steven. But he's been like all over uranium. He's been slaughtering it with it. Like he knows that stuff cold. I have issue with stuff like this. Like, and let me rephrase this too. I also traded it last night, made money off of it. So like I compartmentalize this stuff. I can call something a pig and be like long it and own a lot of it because I'm trading the momentum in the hoople heads. Like, it's very different than I'm a believer, right? I'm not a believer, but I think some of these nuclear companies like are going to just really benefit. Like, I think GEV is going to be a monster. I think VST is going to be a monster. I think CEG is going to be a monster. Actually, CEG started this whole thing. You'll remember, I believe it was, when was it? Was it back here they did it? I have to go back and take a look. Or was it here they did it, where they took 3 Mile Island and renamed it? It's no longer 3 Mile Island. It's the Kramer Clean Energy Facility. Now what's Germany doing? Oh, well, we talked to France, and they say that that nuclear energy is clean. What's Denmark doing after 40 years? Oh, this thing with nuclear energy, we may have had it wrong. Nuclear energy is good. It's green. Why are they doing this? Because they need it. They need it. And you also have the lobbyists and I'm not going to get into it all. Nuclear energy is not going anywhere but up. The question is, how do you play it? I'm more convinced of that now than ever. If someone to tell me what are the 2 themes for the next 5 years that people are grossly underestimating right now, it's nuclear energy. And I'm going to say not on a what can you make money off of, like what has the most potential, but what is being grossly the most undervalued or under potential right now. I think it's nuclear energy. And then I think it's AI. And I think it's in that order. Because I don't think people understand the amount of power capacity that just happened over the past 12 years or 12 months that you need. You went from like 0.6 to 3. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy what's happened. And people don't get why the utility bills are like insane. They're going to. I don't think Bitcoin's the only game in town. I think it's the next game in town. I think you have to look at this administration, Julian, and go, they know that they got handed a bill of goods. Like, if you've been around a long time or trading for some time, and I'll leave it like this. I think of it like this, right? Bush gets out of office, right? And I'm going to piss off the Republicans and the Democrats when I say this, both of them. But like, Bush gets out of office, right? During the great financial crisis. The great financial crisis was created by Clinton when he got rid of certain provisions in the Glass-Steagall Act, right? It's just a fact. He allowed commercial banks and institutional banks to merge again. And that was from the 20s when they said, you can't do this. Your deposits are your deposits. Your investments are your investments, because that's what caused the Great Depression, not tariffs. So fast forward, and Bush gets out of office and he goes to Obama and he goes, here you go. And so like, that's what happened to Obama's first term. So when you look at it, like what Trump's dealing with right now, everything that Trump's dealing with is dealing with the crap that happened over 4 years. And now he's got to go unwind the non-farm payrolls that only grew because of government hiring, which is, you can't do that. It doesn't work. So everything that this government and administration is doing is going, how am I going to cut expenses without getting stabbed with pitchforks, i.e. going after entitlements? And how am I finding new sources of revenue? The fastest way to find a new source of revenue is to create power that is cheap. Cheap power will lead to increases in revenue because at least it involves increased productivity, because you can increase productivity if it's cheaper, hence AI, hence nuclear energy. And then you're going to wind up cutting rates into this environment. It's going to be like the 90s on steroids. You just have to wait for it. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not really a pre-market call, but hopefully that helps. What's up, Mitch? Argentina. I very little to say about it. I like it a lot. You don't hear him getting tariffs. You don't hear anything going on there. Yep, please hit the like button. Good morning from Abu Dhabi. Good morning from Miami. I think we're going to do an Arete world tour. Till and into it. I'd be careful with the core weave. I think core weave's having an arm moment. I don't know anything about this. I wish the best with it. Looks like it's about ready to rip people's faces off and make them cry. Into it, you're in tax season. They must have crushed on earnings. Absolutely crushed on earnings. I don't know enough that I'd be talking out of my butt right now, man. I'm gonna get used to this new thing. I put a program together, and I don't know how to put the damn thing together. I don't even know how to use it. Yeah, you're up there on volume for sure. This DFDV looks like it wants to go again. You could. I think it's a buying opportunity. What's up, Cav? What's up, Ian? Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I think the depth is a gift. Yeah, I own this. I think people go through these things where they're like, oh, I want to buy this day. Okay. You know, it is what it is. I don't think that it's the worst thing. Let it pull back. You know, you got to give these things time if you're going to play them. It's not just the Apple. It's not just the Apple that's the issue. It's also the rhetoric coming out of the EU. That's more the issue. What's up, Maria? That's awesome. Congrats. Yeah, the app, that's more the issue. What's up, brother? What's going on, Steven? We just went through those key levels. Some of this stuff I'm just going to just blow through. What's up, Cap? It's almost like, hey guys, get in by the dip. Doesn't it feel that way? I think it's there's no other way for me to say this, Ian. I think it's very poor form to do what they're doing with a group that supported you, and we supported them. I get it. We're going to get into all of it, but that were allies during World War II. I have an issue. I have an issue with it. I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. But it does feel like, I feel like we're in one big boys club lately. I'll leave it at that. DMYY, please don't give me a penny stock. Please don't give me a penny stock. Please don't give me a penny stock. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I'll watch it though. Oh, it was one of the ugliest ever. John, it was one of the ugliest ever. I don't know what he's going to do. I think you can drop a lot there. He needs money, dude. Bengal, he needs money. It's very obvious what he needs. It's very obvious that he needs money. I don't, but I think we have to start being able to have discourse. I think it can come in pretty hard, frankly. The way these things usually work is they come in hard, and then they come to levels people thought they would never come to, and there's always a retest of the high. So that's what you're looking for, the first turn. I mean, you could get down to 64 because somebody sneezes. I remember talking to somebody about this, and they told me I was nuts. And I said, then it'll go back up. They're like, oh, this MSTR, when it does, I'm going to buy it in the threes. I'm like, why buy it in the threes when you can buy it in the twos? And they're like, there's no way this thing's ever getting in the twos again. And so when you do this kind of stuff, what I always do is like, okay, well, where's my first level? Like right here. Like, well, maybe I'm not going to get that. That was like my dream level. So then I'll start marking these levels off. And then I'll watch when I get close to them, right? The easiest way to look at this stuff, see, the reason fib levels work is human behavior. I'm not going to go down this road. One night we'll all do like a, we'll do a tinfoil hat kind of thing. But you see like this base from here, we'll have a tinfoil hat meeting. But you drop fibs on them, and then you watch how they act at those fibs. And sometimes you'll see it where you're like, oh, well, there's the 32. And what I'm looking for, not only by putting them there, but then I'll go, okay, well, should I be using this, right? There's ways to do this. Like the true low is here in February. You really don't want to go past another full year. So you start smaller off the base, and then you'll extend these out. I guess you do a fib level class. And then you're going, okay, the levels that I should be using for MSTR are what? 4 fib levels. Okay, I should be using the January time frame to date, right? And then you'd go, oh, well, I can't get through the 78.6, 61, but that 38, man, that's holding. And so by assigning it one level and then utilizing the tool to let it tell you what it's supposed to tell you, I mean, there's a reason that we started buying this stuff in here. We had like 2 really good trades, and we caught this whole thing for like 80 points. Yeah, but yeah, you can get smoked here, man. Like, don't get it twisted. You can get absolutely cracked here again in this market. X gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you. At least somebody caught it. I drop into Easter eggs all the time, man. Trying. I'm trying. Yeah, it is a beast. I wouldn't touch a medical company or an XLV name if it was free. Yeah, it'll be packed. Yeah, I've drank the uranium, bro. Not to your level, but I drank the uranium Kool-Aid. Yeah, you might want to pay attention to Steven and look at that nukes. I don't know enough about it, brother. I'd be talking out of my butt. We have a Canadian room in the community, but I don't know enough about it. I actually think nuclear. I actually think you can make more money with AI. I actually think nuclear is completely misunderstood still. See, I traded that one last night. I'm already out of it, Dex. Just the idea of like, when everybody promises me that they can do something. Now, mind you, I also shorted it at 20 when Altman dropped out, and then it ripped up 100. I only lost $1, but then it ripped up 100% from when Altman got out of it. You're trading hopes and dreams, right? Like, oh, we're going to take all the waste and we're going to make the waste good. Okay. When are you going to do this? Like, I've got zero in revenues, and I can trade between 5 to 50 on 0 in revenues. So don't tell me that reflexivity and that hopes and dreams don't move the market. Yeah. Well, after his comments today, gold's going to be en fuego. That's in fire in Spanish. I wouldn't touch any of those names, man. Is that Humana or Huma? I don't know enough about this company to talk about it intelligently. I'd be wasting your time. AMAT I would avoid. Marvel I would avoid. I'd only play the big dogs now. There's two names I would play right now. NVIDIA, that's how it's pronounced. You have to enunciate the N. Nah. And then AVGL. They're the only two I'm interested in. I'm not saying there's not names there, man, like Dex, like these guys, like if you start looking at, they have the contracts. LEU has the contracts, billions of dollars in contracts from the government. So like if one's going to move on this, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that you got to pay up 20 Dex, but if one's going to move on this, maybe it's the one that's making billions of dollars and they don't have billions of dollars in the revs, right? Go read the contract they got. You can Google it. Do the Google. Yeah, I mean, like people can say what they want about that dude. And I don't know enough about him to speak to him. If he's shorting a biotech, I don't know that I would be long a biotech that dude's shorting. My money would be on what he's saying about a biotech. Nuclear. Oh, how about we just call it yellow power? All right, I got to go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Trade to win. Make good choices.